safety. The first thing you're going to need to look about bike safety is the helmets. There are many different types of helmets and styles, so you can get them in all different varieties. Your helmet has to be on right and must be adjusted. Sometimes there will be like little pads inside the helmet that you can put in, and that would actually, if you can put them in, then it'll keep the helmet in right and it'll keep the helmet in and not make it slip off your head. For example, helmets keep your head from concussions and other head injuries, like this Barbie. Let's take this Barbie and put her on her bike. So, on bikes, you're going to need to have a few things. You're going to need to make sure you also have a kickstand that keeps the bike from falling over before you use it. And you're going to need to have pedals that would look nice. And you're also going to need to have nice brakes. You're going to need brakes for a lot of reasons. Okay, so first, when you ride, you need to kick up the kickstand. You'll usually just kick up to a certain place and it won't move. Kick up to a certain place and it won't move. When you ride your bike, you don't want to go too fast or too slow. If you go too slow, you might run over, and if you go too fast, you might hit something by accident. So, you want to go around middle speed like that. So, a lot of people may run over sticks and may not be looking at the road. This might be you. You might fall over, but since you did have a helmet on, it would protect your head. And but it is bad to ride over sticks and stuff because sticks, especially like little sticks like this, little tiny sticks like at the end are usually all puffy, and that can usually cause your bike even to tip over. So this bike, this is my little Barbie bike here, if it did hit this, it would definitely fall over. And to actually get back up on your bike, you're going to take your feet off the pedals, and you're going to get off the bike completely, and leave your bike there. After an accident, you're going to need to check your helmet and make sure there's no cracks. If there are any cracks in it, you're going to need to replace the helmet, because it did stop. Oh, and that's all about helmets. Now, if you do not have a helmet on, and you think you don't need a helmet, or you don't deserve one, or you just even don't have one, and things like that can become really bad. Because if you don't have a helmet, then if you did do this, run, then this could be a tree branch. Then the tree branch could get stuck on the bike. It could make you tip over, and then your head could get hurt because you don't have something to protect it. There. Oh, and also you need to watch out for wet leaves, especially wet leaves, because a lot of wet leaves in one place, or just spread around, it could tip your bike over, because the bike wheel, this one's good, but if you had a bike wheel like this that doesn't have a lot of padding on it, if you would go over wet leaves, the bike wheel would slip, and you would fall. Especially with her, she would get a concussion. But if she went over it, now watch this. See the difference? Can you see the difference between this? See how there are little things here that help her? See, and she can just ride straight over it. Oh, and we also need to watch out for leaves, sticks, potholes, cars, wet leaves, plants, pedestrians, curbs, rocks, and water puddles. Next, you're going to need to watch out for cars, leaves, and other items, even like sticks. And even cars. Cars can definitely damage your bike. if you were riding, take for instance, like this, you're riding along, and even if you have your headphones in, even a loud car beep you couldn't even hear that. So if you're riding along in this car, and a car just comes by, you wouldn't even know, and then beep, you wouldn't even know. You would just keep going along. You would have no idea. But if you did have your helmet on, your trusty little helmet here, if you did have your little helmet on here, see how safe? Watch. It has no headphones. Then she could stop and let this car go. And then she could safely pass. There's no point in ruining your bike just to listen to headphones. Even if you would want to ruin your bike, there's no point in it, because just listening to headphones, which one's more important? Listening to music or having a safe head? So, you need to make sure that when you do get a helmet, your helmet's on right. Like, not this little girl's helmet. This little helmet is all out of whack. So, but if you sometimes pull on the strap a little bit, those little strap things that help you pull on them, you can get your brother to help with you as well. So you need to pull on. And there's going to be a little chin pad usually at the bottom, so it doesn't hurt your chin. And see how now it's nice and tight? And if I shake her, it doesn't come off. That's really good, because then that means that she could be safe in a bike crash, and so could her sister. They could be safe without even getting hurt in a crash with bikes. Okay, so if, for instance, you're this person and you just trot along, but you do have to have the right shoes. You need to have tennis shoes or even little Toms. Those will actually use as good shoes because they are made from the Skechers company. You're going to need to have some kind of shoe on. Like her, she's not following rules. She has no helmet, no right shoes, and she's not even sitting on the seat right. She's not even looking. And here, look. She could even, instead of her little trusty little helmet, she has a little iPod. So when she rides along, and the car is backing up, and they can't really see her, but she can't see them. So they could back up, damage the wheel, and cause her to fall over and crack her head. Then she would have to get taken away into an ambulance, because she could have gotten a major concussion. Like, your brain is protected by, like, okay, so, like, Jell-O in a bowl, that's basically what the brain model is. Like, the brain is basically like the Jell-O, and the bowl is basically like the skull. And if you do drop the bowl, and it has nothing on it, like, even a towel like that could be like a helmet. If you drop that bowl, it wouldn't really break. It might crack a little bit, but that could be a minor concussion. Now, if you didn't have a towel, it's just a glass bowl. You drop that on the floor, and if you do drop that on the floor, that will break, and that's basically like the brain in your skull when you get a major concussion. Okay, before you do go on your bike, you're going to need to kick out this kickstand here. Yours may have a pad around the bottom, but mine doesn't, it's just plain metal. The kickstand helps turn your bike on over. When you start riding, you're going to need to get on your bike at a good pace. Get into a good pace and have your brakes ready. Watch out for plants. And when you get too close to something, like if I got too close to this chair, I would always have my brakes to stop myself. Yours may be brakes that if you push your thing back, then that'll trigger the brakes. But mine are these little handles up here. When you pull them, you don't want to pull just one of them, or if your brake is maybe a little bit too strong, it could stop it, and then this one it might have still been going, and it could actually flip your bike over. You want to use both of them at the same time. You don't want to pull too much, but you want to pull enough. You don't want to pull like suddenly. You're going to start pulling, then you're just going to slowly do it. Now, one more time, I'm going to have me riding here if I can get that thing up. So, you're especially going to need to watch out for sticks. While riding, you're going to need to, when you're going uphill, you're going to need to go uphill, like sideways and other ways. And I wouldn't ride on wet areas like this. It's actually bad for the bike if you don't have a mountain bike. When you're done with the bike, don't leave it outside or it could get all rusty. You might want to park it in your garage, maybe in a little area over here like this. You have your bike here. And then this is why we have kickstand. Kick out, lean. And usually my bike, it faces that way when I'm done. When you are done, you're going to need to take your helmet and keep it really close to your bike. I like putting it actually on my bike so it's always close to my bike. Because one time I actually did leave it somewhere in my house and then I couldn't find it. So next time I rode my bike I couldn't ride it because I didn't have my helmet. You even have to use stuff like this. Even green machines and scooters are going to need a helmet. Especially green machines. Green machines are so all out of whack that and you're going to especially need to watch out for trees and plants. Because I did get hurt once. I did crash into a bush. And if you do crash into a bush, before you hit the bush, there could be many sticks poking out of it. Before you hit it, you might want to jump to the ground so you really don't get hurt as much as you would.